Hey, Team Tolerator, we are still on our summer break from new episodes of To All the Men I've Tolerated Before. So this week, I will be giving you one of our still comfy movie reviews with Julia Washington from Pop Culture Makes Me Jealous and Jelly Pop's Book Club. Still Comfy is where Julia and I were live once a week giving movie reviews about our favorite comfort movies from now, our youth, our teenage years, just whenever we felt comforted by a movie and then we felt like we should revisit it to make sure we could still feel comfortable about it. Enjoy this audio version of Still Comfy. If you would like to see the video version, I have linked the YouTube playlist for our Still Comfy videos in the show notes, and there is also our Patreon page linked in the show notes. Patreon members are getting new content throughout the summer, whether it be on our free tier or any of our paid tiers. Whether it be Team Tolerator check-ins, misogyny meltdown episodes, blog posts, or early access to episodes you might hear this fall that will be ad-free. Make sure to check out any of our Patreon tiers. They are all offering free trials. Have a great summer. I will see you this fall with all new episodes of To All the Men I've Tolerated Before. What's that? Sexy Jeff Goldblum pop Funko? Life will find a way, even on a really shitty week. Oh, life will find a way to make my life shitty. Okay, cool, Jeff.
That's not helpful, Jeff.
That's not helpful, Jeff. You sit next to my bedside because you're supposed to manifest sexy stuff for me.
Yes.
You're not supposed to tell me life will find a way to fuck you over, Natalie. Hi, everyone. It's Still Comfy Tuesday. I'm Natalie Katona, your host of To All the Men I've Tolerated Before, a weekly look at everyday misogyny. And this is...
Hi, friends. I'm Julia Washington, your host of Pop Culture Makes Me Jealous, where we analyze pop culture through the lens of race or gender, and sometimes both.
And this will be your first of many reminders that we are covering Jurassic Park, and we have a live comment feed going on. And if you do not tune in live, but you listen to the replay and still want to comment on anything that we say, Jules and I love to be on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Jules just did you a favor and did an example comment. So look at us.
I kicked it off for everyone here today.
In a world where likes and comments are currency.
Yes.
Just like dinosaur embryos.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Jules, I have to apologize.
Because you terrorized me?
Yeah, because me and my sister are sick people. We're sick people. And we have watched Jurassic Park dozens of times. My sister shows it to high schoolers, freshman high schoolers. Some of them might be watching. Hey, guys. Because it's this week. This week she's showing it to the high schoolers.
I would die if I was in that room. I'd be like, Miss Katona, I need to use the bathroom for an hour and a half.
So I had forgotten because I thought what made it scary was the noises themselves.
No.
Because that's what makes it scary in the theaters, because it's so loud.
Mm-hmm.
But no, the whole movie is just very terrifying. And my sister's like, it's not a scary movie. I go, you are correct. I go, but some people are scared by thrillers. It turns out.
As it turns out, the idea of being chased by dinosaurs is actually kind of horrifying.
Right. Turns out not everyone loves a disaster movie. Who would have thunk? Who would have thunk? My sister and I, always hard for disaster movies. We love a bald, buff man running through a disaster, Jason Statham or The Rock.
But there are no bald men in this one.
There aren't. But I guess I will.
Sexy Jeff Goldblum.
Listen, let's talk about it.
You know my first note? Want me to tell you?
Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum, hot, underlined 3 times.
Um, I kept live texting people, hey, everyone, I don't know if we know this, but the original trio of the Jurassic Park movie is the sexiest trio that ever did live. There's not a sexier trio than Laura Dern. I never remember who plays Alan, and Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
And like, I get it that Alan gets a lot of sexy clout from the other two, but in the last one when the original trio comes back, somehow he got hotter. And my friend
British
told me,
men.
and my friend
Well,
told
that's
me,
not true. Not all British men. Go ahead. Sorry, I keep interrupting you. You have thoughts.
my friend told me that it's because he like quit acting and then got like a farm with sheep in Scotland and like maybe a winery or a place to make whiskey, a distillery, if you will.
Is it because he felt bad for what they did to the goats in the movie?
Maybe he's just like sheep. My first note is to let the listeners know that for Halloween this year, my brother-in-law will be Dr. John Hammond, or Rich Man Dr. John Hammond. We don't even know if he was a doctor.
Yeah.
My sister will be Alan because she wants to wear the neckerchief.
Nice.
She's like, I want the neckerchief. Her friend will be Laura Dern. Natalie, why aren't you Laura Dern? Because I'm sexy Jeff Goldblum.
Nice.
And I texted my sister yesterday. I was like, hey, we might have to hose me down for Halloween because my costume is after he gets drenched in rain.
You'll need to be soaking wet.
Yeah. And the baby's going to be a dinosaur.
Oh, so, that's going to be the cutest.
And then my sister's husband, or my sister's friend's husband, is going to be Newman.
He's just a shitty guy in everything he's in, isn't he?
Shitty guy. He's just a shit stir.
I've never seen him in anything where you're not like, God, you're an asshole.
His death with the spitting dinosaur, I believe, is my first jump scare. Like my first jump scare that I can remember as a child.
Yeah.
But Jules, how do you feel after your first watch of Jurassic Park, being traumatized as you are by fake dinosaurs, that this movie is coded as a family-friendly, fun movie night film?
I would never family film night this movie with anybody under the age of 15.
Yeah. It's fucking scary.
Maybe my son would have been cool with it at like 13. Like, this would definitely have been a conversation. Watch the trailer. Let's make a decision. But I definitely would not have sat down with my 3-year-old, my 3-year-old, 8-year-old, and 10-year-old to watch this movie. Not that I was 3 when it came out, but still.
I need everyone to weigh in on the comments. Is Jurassic Park, I'm making our banner now. Is Jurassic Park, I'm a professional, a family-friendly film? I need everyone to weigh in because
fine holiday fun.
Lore has it, legend has it, that the first movie I ever went to go and see at the movie theater was either 101 Dalmatians.
Cute.
Or the Batman with Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman.
Batman Returns?
Returns or Begins or whatever.
Interesting. Okay, here's the thing. The scene where the kids are in the kitchen.
They're so little.
They're like, that little boy is so little. Like the girl, preteen, 13 years old maybe.
Still so little.
And then the boy is just so happy-go-lucky. He's like, I like dinosaurs. Let's get in the car. And he's like thrilled by the whole thing.
Because he's 7.
Because he's a little itty-bitty baby. And then the dinosaurs are like, I don't give a fuck about you. Let me eat your legs. And just like chasing them through the kitchen. Like, I'm hungry, bitch. Get here. And you're just like, but the babies...
The little girl is still little enough that she doesn't know the difference between a meat-eating dinosaur and a plant-eating dinosaur. Her brother has to tell her plant dinosaur.
Right.
Meat dinosaur.
Right.
I and this happens to us a lot where we rewatch one of these movies and we're like, oh, those people are actually way younger than I've ever perceived them.
Uh-huh. Because even in like the retrospectives and like the clips and stuff I've seen, I just don't recall, like it just doesn't feel
No,
like they were that little. And then to see this little tiny boy who's probably 6 years old, who's just like, I'm a cute little baby who loves me a dino. Give me a lunchbox that says Jurassic Park, please. And then he's like, oh God, my life. And you're just like, no, but you should be rescued because you're children.
my
Josephine, stop
sister
it.
texted me and she's like, listen, I watch this movie every year around 8 times in one week because of
Oh
all of
my
her
God. Oh, because
revolving
the children. Yeah,
classes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Because she's traumatizing kids.
Yeah.
And I asked her, I go, is it fun to watch high schooler? I go, what's the split? How many of your kids have already seen Jurassic Park? Because everyone's aging out of our movies.
Yeah.
We have met people who have not seen Thelma and Louise or A League of Their Own.
I know. It's so it's just wild to me.
So I asked her, I was like, so what's the split? And she goes, it's usually pretty 50-50. And I went, how fun is it to watch a bunch of teenagers watch how terrifying Jurassic Park is? And she
Mm-hmm.
goes, I laugh my ass off every year.
Josephine, I love you. So you got to stop. Sorry.
She's like, I'm just eating a snack, playing Candy Crush, and just being like, yeah, kids, T-Rexes, they be serious. She goes, and I pause the movie every class period to make fun of the little boy because when Alan and Ellie are trying to block a door from a velociraptor,
Right.
the little boy and the girl's trying to code
Right. Which they made fun of her earlier because she's a geek.
because she can hack. Hacking was supposed, maybe we should have learned how to hack. Maybe our careers would have been more lucrative.
If I learned anything from the 90s, hacking is it.
Maybe we should have hacked.
Mm-hmm.
But the little boy is just behind his sister while she's hacking, and he has his hands like this, and he's jumping straight up and down. And that's how he chose to show his fear. And she was like, it's Oscar worthy acting. And I was like, but as a 7.5-year-old, if I'm watching Alan fail to block a door from a velociraptor, I too, as a 34-year-old, I might just be rocking back and forth and jumping up and down.
Yeah, I really felt like oh man, now, can I just tell you?
Yeah, tell me.
I was pacing. I went into the kitchen. I went to check my phone. I was like pacing back and forth, and I was like, the hacker girl's gonna get it. Let's do it, please, please. And Laura Dern's sitting there with her legs against the wall and her back against the door, and everyone's just like, oh my God, it's and I'm over here like, this is horrifying.
Yeah.
It's just as scary as if it were a man with a knife or a gun.
And what's brilliant is that Alan set up them all being murdered by velociraptors in the first 5 minutes of the movie because some shitty kid says that the skeleton doesn't look scary enough. So he gets his big raptor claw out and he's like, this is how the raptor would carve your belly.
Right.
To eat your flesh.
Yep.
And Laura Dern's like, that's dark, Alan. And he's like, I hate children.
It's dark, but it's true.
It's dark, but it's true. I hate children. This is the first time where I'm convinced. So I've never been convinced of this before. I thought that like Ellie and Alan had chemistry, but they never had like a campsite romance. I'm convinced that Alan and Ellie had a campsite romance and Ellie wouldn't call him her man because he doesn't want to have kids. Like, I believe that that's actually
that's what I picked up from the movie. Because when Jeff Goldblum was like, hey, is she seeing anybody? And he's like, he makes whatever that comment is. And I was like, oh, you guys are fucking.
Yeah. A campsite romance, if you will. A firelight affair.
Yeah.
Which, hey, Alan's hot. Archaeology was sold to us in the 90s as a very hot and sexy career.
This was you're going to travel the world to discover all kinds of prehistoric tokens.
I'm really surprised that I have met 0 archaeologists because they were in every 90s children's movie.
Every single one.
Every
Indiana
single one.
Jones. Maybe it's is Jurassic Park Steven Spielberg?
Yes.
Maybe it's just Steven Spielberg.
Maybe. Maybe he maybe he maybe he had a parent tell him he couldn't be an archaeologist because it wasn't a real job.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe he had a parent who's like, you need to be an archaeologist because being a filmmaker is not a real job.
So he makes films about archaeologists.
Archaeologists.
Generational trauma, everyone. It's a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. What is one of my other points? Oh,
The other, all my points are about Jeff Goldblum.
I feel like, well, number one, we will get to Jeff Goldblum, but I feel like Jurassic Park is where my animal activism started because Jurassic Park is probably the first movie I ever watched just gun down animals just for being animals. Because here's the thing, the dinosaurs did not ask to be here.
Right.
The Meg, the shark, it was living its best life on a part of the ocean we had never discovered.
Yeah, the humans are the antagonist.
We fucked around
and found
the
out.
T-Rex said, "You will find out."
Yeah.
You will find out. And I think they're trying to lean very hard with the reboot series about it being like Jeff Goldblum is like, this is our fault and we should just let the dinosaurs have our planet. Which I've never picked up on is his entire attitude before they even get to the island. He's like this big bad.
I wrote down Jeff Goldblum, the only one making sense about Jurassic Park, because he's like, this is not a good idea. You're playing with fire. And then there's another point where he's like, I fucking told you.
I fucking told you. I was like, anti-capitalist Jeff Goldblum, Dr. Ian Malcolm is like, I get it. You found some dinosaur blood. You thought you'd run some experiments. You found out that you could play God. But then you took your God powers and you created Disney World. And now people are getting eaten.
Yeah, like, I'm like, how did this old man not feel worse? He sent his grandchildren out there. No shade to my child. My grandchildren, you best believe I will protect more than I will protect my child. My child's job is done. He gave me grandchildren.
He gave me grandchildren. And therefore, to the Raptors, he will go.
And therefore, you do you, baby. Let's get these grandkids grown.
But I was like, oh, maybe that's why I've been humping my pillow every time Jeff Goldblum comes onto a screen. Because literally, he is the anti-capitalist man of my dreams. And people have told me on my own show, To All the Men I've Tolerated Before, that I produce and I host and I invite people onto. People have told me being in love with Jeff Goldblum goes against everything you stand for. Because he's swarmy and he's flirty and he's trying to get you. And I'm like, don't leave me in a room with him. I get one.
Wait, is he really? Like, that's never been, oh my God, am I blind to his, like...
The man is never not serving up, are we having sex right now? And you're like, I don't know, Jeff, are we?
But I always saw it as that's his persona. But the minute you're like, all right, let's do this. And he'd be like, no.
Because he has a beautiful wife and family.
Or just he doesn't strike me as the type to lay just to lay. He strikes me as the type who's gonna like get down when he wants to, and that's not gonna be all the time. And that's not gonna be with every girl that shows up on his doorstep. You know what I mean? I don't know. Am I wrong?
Yeah. Everyone who's not Gina Davis can skip this next 45 seconds. But Gina Davis, you didn't give me enough Jeff Goldblum tea in your biography, in your book, Dying of Politeness. I would like you to very politely tell me that Jeff Goldblum lays it down like he fucks.
Listen, with the way that she described the house that they lived in, there's no way that man doesn't know what he's doing.
I need to know that he fucks.
I just don't think he's like... When I hear swarmy, I think like James Franco.
I hate James Franco. And I think that's why people are always so surprised that I love Jeff Goldblum, because they're like, it's not even that. Maybe Jeff just like pulls it off better, or maybe it comes off more genuine. But I'm like, I would do unexplainable, illegal things for Jeff Goldblum.
I would never do anything illegal for a man or my child or myself because I'm terrified of jail
Is
and
this like
prison.
ASMR? Is this ASMR?
Sexy Jeff Goldblum ASMR.
Oh my gosh. So I'm live on TikTok and the likes are coming in because I'm like, I would do illegal things for Jeff Goldblum.
For sexy Jeff
For
Goldblum.
sexy Jeff Goldblum. Or people wanting to weigh in. I don't know what happens. I barely look at this when we're talking.
I'm going to go to your, it doesn't tell me that you're live.
It never does.
Oh, there it is.
So let's talk about John Hammond. And my note about John Hammond, he's the guy in white. He's the grandpa.
Thank you. Because, I was like so stressed out. Yeah. I didn't register anybody's actual character name.
John Hammond, I wrote down, this is my exact note, and everyone weigh in the comments.
Tell us everything.
But don't let billionaires do science at all. Right. They have utter disregard for normal people and instead just want to get hard about their hobbies. Like he just wanted to jack off on a dinosaur.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
This man wasn't, I don't think this man was a scientist. I don't think he was a like archaeologist, a paleontologist.
Don't they say that in the movie? Doesn't one of them call him out and is like, what are you doing? Like, you're not even.
He's probably just a venture capitalist.
Yeah. And then the lawyer guy who meets his unfortunate demise.
Yeah.
He's also representing all of the investors.
Yeah.
So, like, no one in this has a science background, which is why he showed up at Laura Dern's camp, right?
Right. Yes, because he was like, please tell us that we named the dinosaurs correctly.
Yeah.
And that we're feeding them the things that they should be fed. He literally just like gaslit baby BD Wong into believing that this is a good.
I was like, why does that look like BD Wong?
Because it's baby BD Wong. He's in all of them, I think.
Sounds like, I was like, this voice is so, say Frank for me right now, BD Wong.
It's baby BD Wong.
Say Mr. Banks. I need to hear you say Mr. Banks.
We love baby BD Wong. No, but BD Wong got gaslit, and then he formed a team of scientists, and then they got Alan almost eaten. I texted my sister while I was watching it, and I was like, John Hammond would 1000% hurdle himself to the bottom of the sea to see if he could see a picture of the Titanic. And my sister went, without doubt. I go, he funded the Titanic sub. Like, he commissioned the Titanic sub to hurdle him down, because he was also fine with getting eaten by a T-Rex. Because here's the thing. My sister, because she looks up things while she's watching this movie, she knows a lot of ridiculous T-Rex facts. Like, did you know that T-Rex can swim? Doesn't that feel stupid in your brain? Imagine a T-Rex swimming. Because their arms are so teeny. What are they? And their head is so big. I need everyone, let's all visualize together how stupid a T-Rex would look swimming.
The thing that, like, sorry to interrupt you. The thing that still kind of blows my mind is how they're like, we only breed females. Nothing will happen. Nothing wrong will happen because we're only breeding females. And then I'm like, but I just feel like that's flawed logic, right? I don't know anything about animal science. That's not my expertise. But I do know that you filled in missing DNA with something else.
And Jeff Goldblum said that life will find a way.
That's right, he did.
God creates dinosaurs. God kills dinosaurs. God creates man. Man creates dinosaurs. Dinosaurs kill men. Women rule the earth. It's a banger line.
Can I also tell you the scene when they're like racing to the electric fence, but the power's off?
Listen,
Could not
and those
hang.
and those children are climbing.
Climbing it, I was like,
I was like,
I am gonna have a heart attack. Like,
man, a family fun film about dinosaurs. And I understand breeding a T-Rex because it's a money maker. And as my sister has pointed out, T-Rex is basically useless. Like they're kind of like the male lions of the Jurassic Park, where it's like they don't actually have to hunt very hard and therefore they won't.
mhm.
Like
I have a
basically
question.
useless. Go for it.
Okay, so when they land and they first get there and they're walking, they're amongst some of the creatures, specifically like the herbivores.
Hmm.
So does that mean they only caged the carnivores?
I believe so.
Because then when they go into the ride, I was like, wait. But then when they're in the ride, our friend Sam Neill is like, oh, don't worry, little girl. These ones aren't going to attack us. Let's try and call them. Because then they're herbivores. So then I was like, wait. Is the entire island full of dinosaurs, but then this one enclosed piece has like the dangerous ones and some of the dinosaurs?
I think so.
Okay.
Because I started like, because that hunter is immediately like, light the raptors on fire. This
Yeah.
is an abomination. They will murder us all. They're
Right.
smarter than us. They're faster than us.
Because they're very adaptive, right?
Hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Why you would ever breed a raptor? Oh, because you weren't a scientist who knew things about raptors. Like, did you see
Mhm.
Alan go pale from head to toe because he said the word raptor? And he goes, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Did you breed raptors?
Right.
And
But they're only
so
girls, so it's fine.
it's fine. They're only the girl raptors. What could ever go wrong?
Mm.
And that hunter man, I was like, hey, maybe you know that your park should not be. If you need to have the deadliest hunter in the world employed at your park with an assault rifle ready to take down a raptor,
Right.
like that
Correct.
was his job.
Yeah, that's not a job I'd be interested in.
And like, so I get it. I'm all for ideas. I'm all for theme parks, but I'm also like, this is why you need a Laura Dern to be like, we can make Brontosaurus. We will not be making raptors.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no. And have you seen Chris Pratt click at the raptors?
I haven't seen any of the
Okay.
Jurassic movies, friend. None of them.
So,
And then Mario was like, oh, now you can watch all of them. And I'm like, but Chris Pratt.
yeah, my sworn enemy, Chris Pratt, in the new Jurassic Park movies, which I go to each one because I love dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He is the raptor trainer.
Oh,
He is the
Lord.
person who trains the raptors.
Of
And
course.
he got the raptors to adapt to obeying him by clicking things. So he just looks them dead in the eye. Is this ASMR? And he clicks
Wait, I feel like
like a dog
what?
whistle.
Huh. I don't like it.
So then I'm watching Meg 2, The Trench, a perfect disaster movie. And there's some fucking venture capitalist scientist with an underground clicker clicking at the dinosaur shark. And I'm like, fuck you, Chris Pratt. Now people think that they can clicker dangerous animals.
Yeah. I just don't think that's a good
It
move.
really got me thinking about zoos in general because I was like,
Mhm.
okay, let's piece it together. There is probably nothing at a zoo that is as adaptable and as fast because I think that's what the deadly combo is to
Mhm.
a raptor.
Right.
But there's probably an animal in a zoo that is as fast as a raptor.
Mhm.
And then I was thinking about it and I was like, okay, the T-Rex and the raptors, clearly no contact dinosaurs. Like they lowered the cows in on a crane.
Right.
I was like, okay, gorillas. I know that gorillas at the zoo are a no contact animal.
Mhm.
because they're so territorial.
Right.
But then I got to thinking about blackfish and I was like, remember when we were all really pressed that the orca kept murdering its trainers because it could not fit in the enclosure you built for it?
Right.
John Hammond needed to watch Blackfish before he got a T-Rex involved.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
and then I got to thinking about how like open zoos are now. Like, do your
Right.
zoos just have like open areas?
So I haven't been to the Oakland Zoo in a while, but the one in Fresno, the last time I was there, still felt a little closed in, but it's
Okay.
been a minute since I've been there. But I will say, when we went to the one in Seattle one
Mm-hmm.
year for Mother's Day, the biggest thing that was very impressive to me was where they kept the rhinoceros. Because
Oh,
it was
because
just a huge open space, but then also it was like 50 feet below all of us. It just was like you had to look over a ledge,
mm-hmm.
and it's like this open field. Because to your point about like what's scary and fast and can murder, it's a
It's a rhino.
rhinoceros.
Fun fact, because this is what I should have been thinking about. I go, there
Which people
has to
don't
be.
realize they're fast because they're
Yeah,
so big. Yeah.
it's the same with hippos on the bottom of the river.
Yeah.
Everyone, don't
Oh,
leave
wait,
our
maybe they were
YouTube
hippo.
video
No, it wasn't a hippo.
because hippos would have had a water source.
Maybe, hold on. Because I just watched
Either one
Jurassic
works
Park.
in this.
I
Anna.
think it was actually a hippo
Okay.
because the guy who was the person in charge of that cage
Enclosure.
enclosure was from somewhere where they are lousy with hippos, and like he was like a specialist or
He was a
something.
hippo specialist. A dream.
Yeah, and
A
he like
dream.
people would make jokes about like people were making really stupid, ignorant jokes. And then finally he was like, you would not survive a hippo. They run
Hippos
over humans for fun.
for fun.
They think it's funny. So
Every
if you would like to try, I can't legally tell you to do it, but I could turn around.
Everyone, it'll be the most fun you've ever had. Everyone, at the end of our show, you put right into your Google search bar, hippos attacking boats. And you just watch those hippos get, like, people are just driving their little fan boats
Yep.
in the rivers and the swamps where hippos are. And then you just see one slowly emerge with its eyes and be like, is that a fucking boat in my river? And then it dives down real quick and it runs, jumps up for air, goes back down, runs. It's the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen. And the entire time you're like, those people are going to die.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucked.
Now I know it is hippos because we were talking about Jurassic Park and I was visualizing Jurassic Park when I started the story. So I just assumed rhino, but no, it was hippo.
So, but here's a fun fact about rhinos.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had to start thinking, I was like, every zoo animal, it has to be at some point beneficial enough for them that they don't go ham on us.
Right.
Because rhinoceroses, I found out, can charge so fast and get so much momentum and power behind them that there is not a metal, a stone, or an anything on Earth that could actually contain a rhino.
Right.
If it wanted to get out.
Which makes absolute perfect sense considering where rhinoceros are indigenous to and like the type of conditions they live under. Like there's a reason why animals are exist in the way they exist because it's, you know, survival.
Right. So I was thinking about it and I was like, shit, you really like the reason why Blackfish was murdering people is because he was no longer chill with the settings you had provided for him.
Right.
And instead of doing something about that, you were like, it's easier for 1,000 people to see you this way, though, bud. Mm-hmm. 8 more shows.
It's like an acceptable version of imprisonment because when you think about being in prison, you're in these really tiny, you're in a cell. The conditions are mediocre at best. Hell, you know, you're eventually going to lose your fucking mind. I mean, people in solitary confinement, people do lose their minds.
Hey, we learned a couple months ago that Penelope also has to be in some sort of consensual relationship with our dynamic because she tried to murder me
Right.
out of
Right.
anxiety.
Right.
And
Yep.
she was almost pretty successful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
It's a
again,
very scary time.
yeah, again, it's just like I don't know what it is about my brain or what movies I watched when I was a child or what I was taught in school, but I've always understood the patterns and the behaviors of animals. And I have always been floored that people do not know what to do in the presence of an animal.
It's like, so, I just read Water for Elephants and watched the movie for an
Hmm.
upcoming episode of Jelly Pop's book club. And it never occurred to anybody that this elephant doesn't speak English. And all they do is just fucking beat it repeatedly. And then it gets mad because it's being beaten. You know what
They
I
should have
mean?
clicked.
They should have just clicked.
They should have just clicked.
Yeah, and so it's like this assumption that animals aren't intelligent, that we're the superior being, which is just so flawed.
And Laura Dern goes into that when John Hammond's just like eating jello.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Hey, my brother, people are dying in your park." And he's like, "I paid so much for this ice cream." And she's like, "I hear you. We know you're a venture capitalist." But she
Right.
tells him, she's like, "This is all your design. You did not understand the power of these beings. And then once you did understand it, you refused to respect it."
It's like Elon Musk buying Twitter.
Damn, because that is a beast that Elon cannot tame.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Slam, as one of our good friends would say. That's a
Yeah.
slam.
Slam.
That's
I did a
slam.
slam. I'm such a dork.
Did a slam.
I did a slam.
So again, like in theory, the tying up of the lamb so that the T-Rex would stay fed and not chomp its electric fence down,
Right.
because there's no way there was enough electricity running through that fence if the boy's heart could restart to take down a T-Rex. How big are T-Rexes?
It said it was 10,000 volts. And I was
Yeah.
like, wait, I don't understand. How is 10,000 volts not going to kill this tiny, tiny child?
Movie
But
magic.
in theory, is supposed to contain a
A
T-Rex.
T-Rex.
It's movie magic.
Movie magic. So I understand the like, well, we tied a goat up so it wouldn't be hungry. So it wouldn't eat us. And Alan's like, okay, that's real cool. T-Rexes don't just want a midnight snack. They actually want to hunt. It's the only thing that makes them feel like they're doing a good job.
So do you think that he was basically starved into this?
The
The
T-Rex?
T-Rex? Yeah.
He was starved. He was bred into this, but I think that's part of it. I
But I
think
mean, like, because they're only giving him a goat or a cow or a sheep once a day, that he's become hungrier for it because it's now contained on someone else's schedule versus
yeah. And should
his natural instinct.
and should the lions ever break out of any of the zoos that I am a customer of and they start going ham, I'm gonna be like, that makes sense. Because they're predators.
Right.
Animal instinct.
Right.
And
Yeah, because there was, what was it? He said, Sam Neill said, if you don't move, he can't see us.
Mhm.
And I was like, that's a good tip to know. What else? What other predators, if we don't move, they can't see us?
I think alligators and crocodiles have really bad eyesight.
Okay.
I mean,
Well,
like, don't try it.
I'm never going to a swampy area. So
Because I honestly think it's the position of the T-Rex's eyes in its face. I don't think they're like blind. I just truly believe that they have like no peripheral vision or something.
okay.
But I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
Like
but-
if it's not moving, they don't know that it's potentially prey.
Yeah.
Like it's not alive if it's not moving.
But once again, I have to chalk it up
Sorry.
to the egos of men for just being like, I could control a dinosaur.
Yeah, it really, yeah, truly.
Why couldn't I colonize a dinosaur? I don't understand. Me, the son of nation stealers, be thwarted by a raptor, make that make sense. It's like it truly is so egotistical to think that any of us, including
Mhm.
us with pets, have any sort of like upper hand.
Yeah, it's like when people who do own wild animals as pets
Uh-huh.
and then they get murdered by their pet.
By their pet.
You're just like, it's not funny. It's actually really tragic and sad. And also, we kind of knew that outcome was coming.
Right. Oh, I'm sorry. Are you talking about the B plot to Nope? The entire time. The first time they saw that monkey, I was like, okay, here it is.
I haven't seen Nope. You know this.
What do you mean you haven't seen Nope? I thought we made you see it.
No. Mario's trying to get me to see it for the upcoming segment you guys are doing.
I thought we made you see it. I thought you went after I went. Okay, fine. Well, there's a monkey.
Oh, there's a monkey.
And
I
here's
don't
the
care.
B plot.
Listen, you can ruin it for me because Mario wants me to see it because he's like, here's a list of movies. Will these stress you out? And I'm just like, yeah. Did you see how I reacted during Jurassic Park?
Listen, he tried to ask me if they would stress you out, and I was like, I have a broken gauge because I love it. I think the Megs are perfect movies.
Yeah.
And
so funny.
I will
The
not
problem
be
is
swayed.
the problem is the older I get, the more sensitive I'm getting because I'm able to control my input more.
Oh,
Right? Like when you're in your 20s and you're like, I'm having a good time, let's have a good life, all these things. You're just like, let's do all this stuff. And now that I'm the age that I am, I'm just like, I don't have to do shit I don't want to do.
but yeah, just like the egos that we have to be like, "Ah, those lions are perfectly happy with us. They're perfectly fine. I went and saw that Beast movie with Idris Elba. And what did I tell you? I go, that movie was better than it had any right to be.
I will not. It doesn't matter how hot Idris Elba is. I will not. When I go for my walks in the morning and I see people walking their creatures and they have dogs that like on their hind legs are taller than them but yet they like tie the leash. They have a waist leash that hooks to them, that hooks to the creature.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, girl, you're dead.
You're dead.
If that dog decides to have an animalistic break, that's it for you because
That's
it is
for
taller
you.
than you and it probably weighs more.
It's going to rip you in two.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that I did almost cry.
When? What part?
When Alan and Ellie got to see life dinosaurs that were
in
living.
the beginning when they first get there.
And they're like, oh my God. And I was like, oh my God, what must that feel like to work your entire career going, I know that the limits of my science is I will study the bones. I will make assumptions about what the bones and how they are all put together mean about their prey tendencies and things like that. But we would never know.
Right.
Because all of the dinosaurs are extinct, except for birds. And maybe the Meg. What if the Meg's just the one whispering up to the orcas?
Yeah.
You're like,
take them down. Take them. These yachts do not need to be in our water.
And then he just slowly sinks back into the terraplane, the atmosphere.
I like this theory, actually.
That separates our ocean from the Jurassic Ocean.
I'm into this theory, yeah.
Listen, Jason Statham, give me a call. We can make an orca Meg movie. I hope that we get as many Meg movies as we have Jaw movies.
Are there still Jaws movies?
How many did we get? 3? More than 3.
I don't know.
It feels like we were
Maybe
always
4?
getting Jaw movies.
Maybe 4? It doesn't matter. Continue.
I know one's in 3D. Well, now I've lost it, and now you're Googling.
Sorry. There's 4.
Okay.
Yeah, Jaws
including Jaws
1975.
3D.
Jaws 1975, Jaws 2 1978, Jaws 3D 1983, and Jaws The Revenge 1987.
Listen, I hope the Megs become the new Avengers movie. Every summer, new Meg. This one had a Kraken. I was real into it. And honestly, I could have seen more of the Kraken. I really feel like they underutilized the Kraken.
Wait, isn't that the animated one?
The Kraken
No.
or the
I'm
Meg?
think- I'm let's talk about Jurassic Park because I clearly walked into a territory I know nothing about.
The Meg is another movie that's too scary for you.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
It has Jason Statham in it. There are two of them. The second
Yeah.
one has a Kraken. It's very exciting.
Because I remember the trailer. There's a scene where she's like, "No, this glass is make proof," and then the fucker comes through it, and you're just like, "You opened that door, ma'am. You said it out loud."
Oh, there was a cartoon this summer that I wanted to see and no one else was into that was called like My Teenage Kraken or something.
Yeah,
Teenage
that's why
Kraken.
I got confused because Jane Fonda voiced the grandma. So I was like, wait, is there something about that I missed? Okay.
So I was like, oh my God. I go, to think that you've reached the limits of your knowledge and the limits of your career and you've accepted it. You've accepted that that is your role. That will always be your role, to just make assumptions to what dinosaurs will do.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're handed by some insane venture capitalist a park where the dinosaurs are roaming free. And you were like, yes, what a great scientific situation. And then you got Dr. Ian Malcolm, who's like, I love science, but we are all going to die.
Yeah.
We are all going to die.
Because it is a beautiful moment when your life's work comes to fruition in a way that you never could imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Yeah. I also do
work with terrifying creatures.
You probably don't watch a lot of disaster movies, so you probably do not understand the lore and the format.
No, because I've had to do disaster work.
Same.
Why would I want to watch it fictionalized?
My sister and I get so hyped for a disaster movie.
Seriously?
We went and saw that. Like the whole premise of the movie is that Dwayne The Rock Johnson is in a skyscraper and it's on fire. And it's 3 hours of that. And I fell asleep during it, woke up, it was still going on. And my brother and I asked my sister, I go, what did I miss? And she was like I could tell you.
Right.
And then my brother-in-law had to explain to us the fake science they made up on the way home. But
got it. My
favorite part of disaster movies is they always make up science to back up whatever is going to happen.
Absolutely. And so like I told you, I have a family member who's a marine biologist, like a legitimate, like that's her job. And she loves all kinds of stuff, but sometimes when we're watching things, she'll have to like pause. Now here's the, and like correct it and then play. And we're just like, it's out of your system. You had to get that out of your system. You couldn't let us just watch the movie first.
It's my favorite because I'm going to be honest. I watch a lot of shows where science plays a part in whatever is happening because science plays a part in everything. But only disaster movies truly go the extra mile to be like, we are going to teach you some fake bullshit science that we ourselves made up. Like, yeah, you can make dinosaurs out of frogs. Why wouldn't you be able to?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
That makes perfect sense.
Amphibians. It's
with this much blood out of a mosquito. Thank God for Amber.
Right? It's a saving grace.
A saving grace. You can click at a velociraptor. Hey,
Mario's here. Mario's in the house.
You can clicky click at a velociraptor, and that is behavior management for a dinosaur. Why wouldn't it be fake science? In the Meg,
I can't even clicky click at a child to get it to do what I need it to do. Mario!
Oh, you just got called out.
That is not okay. I love fun. ask Mario how many parties I've invited him to, and he hasn't shown up. Oh,
I
JK,
was
because you don't watch Jurassic Park.
I was wondering why I got my own separate shout out. I was like, oh, that's weird. We're doing it separate, but I enjoy it because it's more
It's
comments
more
going into
personal.
the
Yeah.
going
Oh,
into
more
the
comments. Yeah,
algorithm.
it helps with the algorithm.
So I appreciate that, Mario.
Mario.
Would you like to know some of the fake science from the Meg? Because the Meg has perfect fake science.
Is it related to Jurassic Park?
Yes, because the Meg is a dinosaur shark.
Okay, go ahead.
So the reason why the Meg could be in the sea without anyone knowing about it, a giant dinosaur shark that survived since the Jurassic period,
Yeah.
is because what we perceive as the bottom of the ocean is not the bottom of the ocean. It is instead a layer of thick atmosphere that we have misread as the bottom of the ocean. And the Meg and a bunch of other really insane shit lives underneath it.
So how did it get out from underneath it?
Oh, men are violent. And the beautiful thing about the Meg movies is that they are all about ocean conservation. So like Jason Statham will fight a giant shark because he's like, we will not destroy the seas for profit. And he's like a pirate that goes on the oil riggers and like destroys their stuff.
Oh, that's funny.
So anyways, so some men threw like a bomb or something. They were doing something in the ocean and it created a rift and up came the Meg.
Yeah. Oh, God.
It's beautiful. Second point of fake science from the Meg that I wonderfully enjoyed. In the second Meg, we watch a woman's head implode like the guys from the Titanic sub. And science. And Jason Statham has to be in a Jurassic Park movie. I'm going to call him.
Do you think they'll make him do an American accent though? Sorry, go ahead. Let's not derail. So Meg science, continue.
So we're under the sea. We are so far under the sea that someone's head has already imploded in their suit because their suit stopped depressurizing. But then a bad guy in our under the sea base camp has stolen our powerful suits. So Jason Statham's like, I know, I can still swim out there and manually hit the lock. And the 12-year-old who came along on the ride, because no one's ever watching kids, she says, what about the pressure? You'll implode. And I'm like, yeah, Titanic sub. And then some other lady goes, it's not about the pressure. It's about the oxygen contained in his body. If he breathes out all of the oxygen in his body, he will not implode. So he literally huffs like a bull through his nose until there is no oxygen left in his body and his nose bleeds a little and he's able to just swim like you would in a swimming pool at the bottom of the sea.
This is not real.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite. So many people annoyed by the fake science, but I'm like, no, it's movie magic. You have to create fake science to figure out how fake dinosaurs came into play.
Yeah. I feel like fake science hurts my head.
I love it. I love fake disaster movie science. This is also my favorite part of any disaster movie.
Tell me.
If it is a disaster movie containing an animal, that animal is always going to make petty murders. Even though you're thinking, why would an animal get petty? But they always make it so like Newman gets eaten because he tells the dinosaur that it's dumb and it can't read or something.
Right.
So that dinosaur's like, I'm gonna fuck you up. And then the guy in the toilet stall gets eaten because he told the kids bye. And left them to be eaten by the T-Rex. So the T-Rex was like, if it isn't the consequences of your own actions or inaction, and he eats him. I'm like, I love the justice system in disaster movies.
Go ahead.
Because it's always the biggest asshole that gets eaten first because the Meg's like, not today.
Yeah. I think I'm starting to understand why I'm very risk adverse. Because even though like I didn't see Jurassic Park, I have
Uh-huh.
seen like this whole disaster movie thing is a thing that exists within the house where I was raised. And even though like I didn't watch them directly, I still heard them.
I love disaster movies. Think about it.
I just don't like disasters. There's so much chaos.
There's even pettiness in the Titanic disaster movie.
Yeah, that's
Because
true.
Billy Zane is like, why would I wait for the Atlantic to freeze Leonardo DiCaprio like a popsicle when I
Yeah,
have a
I'll just
gun?
kill him. I can kill myself.
and,
Yeah.
and the boat's going down and
Yeah.
people are wading and swimming and Billy Zane's like,
And the audacity for him to believe that after he's done that, he will still get on a rescue boat.
He will still get on a rescue boat. He gets rescued.
I know, it's so upsetting. It's so upsetting.
Rescued.
Like James Cameron, you couldn't at least have given us him also going down with the music.
Right. So why does Jason Statham never get eaten by the Meg? Because he respects the ocean.
Yeah.
Why did Alan, Ellie, and Dr. Ian Malcolm not get eaten? Because they didn't go out of their way to piss off the dinosaurs.
Right. And also Jeff Goldblum was laid up in a room because he was injured.
Just panting.
Like, I didn't realize how little he actually did inside the park.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I was expecting him to also be wielding a weapon, trying to do all these things, but no, he's on a metal table injured.
He has that one moment when he's waving the torch.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
That's how he gets drenched in rain. That's why I'm going to have to be hosed down for Halloween.
No, I haven't read the book, but I do really actually want to now because Michael Crichton wrote the screenplay as well as the book. So that leads me to believe this is a very good adaptation, probably.
Yeah. I think I read the book in high school.
Spielberg.
I think I read the book and I think it was in high school. I know that I was assigned to read the Time Machine, which is also by him.
Okay.
And we watched that shitty movie.
He's written millions of books, it feels like. Like, sir, what haven't you written?
Who's to say? But Jules, we're getting down to 5 minutes, so I guess we should discuss how comfortable you are knowing that Jurassic Park made my comfort movie list.
Friend, if I didn't know you, I'd be concerned.
I'm broken and I was wildly unsupervised as a child. Sometimes I was supervised as a child and they're like, do you want to watch Jurassic Park, 4-year-old?
I just feel like that's a lot.
It is a lot.
It's a lot. I'm a grown ass woman and I did a lot of like, well, I need to go pace in the kitchen while these noises do what they need to do.
The thing about Jurassic Park is I was watching it on Freevee and Freevee didn't try to do any remastering of the sound. So the dialogue would be this soft. And I was like, I'm deaf as hell. I cannot hear what the scientists are saying. And then the dinosaurs would be the
and the commercials too. I don't know if you had that. It was like, I can't. It was a lot. And then on Freevee, it was like 14 hours longer because of the amount of commercials. And I was just like, I could have been done by now. Like, I put this on 3 hours ago and I'm 20 minutes into the movie.
So I will say that if you are a person who loves Jurassic Park and you haven't watched it in a hot decade because you don't like being disappointed by things you once loved, I get it. Jurassic Park still holds up.
I think it holds up too. Like, I would not. There wasn't
a great story.
There wasn't anything about it that was like, ooh, or like, ooh, you know what I mean? Like, we've watched stuff where it's like, ooh, we forgot about that, but we still like it. But like, this
mermaids.
But this isn't one of those things where it's like, this is like inappropriate. Like, Laura Dern wasn't over sexualized in any way, shape, or form. Like, that was really impressive to me too, because they really could have gone that way if they wanted to. She's so much younger than everybody else in the movie. Yeah.
Also, I looked this up because my sister said the CGI really holds up. And I go, there's no way that this movie is CGI because CGI ruins everything for me. So I looked it up. There are only 6 minutes worth of CGI
Yeah,
in the
I believe
movie,
it.
and the rest of it is just practical effects
Yeah,
in a
I believe that.
studio.
I believe that because you usually can tell, especially in the 90s.
Laura Dern was also one of my first crushes and one of my
That's
longest lasting
cute.
crushes.
That's cute.
Maybe Jurassic Park was my bi awakening, where I was like, I want to hug, I want to rest against Jeff Goldblum, but I also kind of want to be hugging Laura Dern at the same time.
That's so funny.
Um, Happy 30-year anniversary, Jurassic Park. Good for you for having some of the best practical effects in the biz.
Yeah.
It makes me miss when we used to actually make stuff for movies.
Yeah, we actually had this conversation today in a group that I'm in where like CGI VFX really depends on who's doing it because people when I ruined everybody by telling him that Ted Lasso is like all VFX, but like you have no idea. You have
Yeah.
no idea until you see like a behind the scenes without the VFX laid over.
I have not been at the Jurassic World ride at Universal Studios. It is on my notes that dinosaurs are scary as hell, and I wouldn't ride the Countdown to Extinction ride at Disney World. And it was a Disney World ride, but I knew that that fucking ride was going to end with a T-Rex trying to eat you, and I was like,
Mm-mm.
anxiety.
Yeah.
And I've never been to Universal because all of their rides seem very stressful. Like Jaws tries to eat you,
Yeah. Puts you in the movie.
puts you in the movie.
Mhm.
So no, I eventually did. So the first time I went to Disney World, I was in the 4th grade. The next time I went to Disney World, I was a sophomore in high school, and I believe someone bullied me into the Countdown to Extinction ride. They were like, "You didn't do it last time. You're
Rude.
almost a grown up. You're not gonna do it this time." And I'm like, "Dinosaurs are scary." And
Dinosaurs are
I
scary.
literally just like head in knee screamed the entire time. I don't want a dinosaur in my
Mm.
face. I don't want it. Also,
Yeah.
the main, the main, the T-Rex noises wouldn't be possible without a very loud recording of a baby elephant making elephant noises. Isn't that cute?
Yeah.
Like it's a compilation of like 22 things, but the biggest noise is the baby elephant.
That is cute. I love elephants.
Well, Jules, thanks for surviving Jurassic Park.
Barely.
Honestly, if you had told me that you had never seen this movie before, I probably would have still told you, oh, yeah, it's a fine movie. It's chill. Dinosaurs, man. It's like the Star Wars, but with dinosaurs.
Oh, I don't
And
really.
then you would have had to scream at me. And then I would have watched it going, oh, shit, it's like it, but with dinosaurs. That is how scary this is.
It's scary.
So you did it. Good
I
job.
survived.
Would you
Mhm.
ever watch it again?
No.
Yeah, that's how I am with Logan. One panic attack too many during a movie, and I'm like, I'm never watching this movie again.
Yeah. Some movies that are intense, once I know all the beats and what happens, then I might go back and watch it again because then the tension, then I know I can get through when I'm getting through the tension, when it's, all that stuff. But anything that has a jump scare, I can't go back and watch.
Hereditary, I could watch Hereditary 3 times a
Nope.
day for the rest of my life.
You know how many times that movie comes up in Films to be Buried with is the scariest movie on the planet? But it's
I'm
also
aware.
like a really good, like everyone's like, this movie's fucking amazing, but it terrified the shit out of me.
Give Toni Collette her Oscar. We need to rectify that.
Yeah.
I would watch Hereditary 3 times a day for the rest of my life.
No.
But you will never catch me watching that fucking Logan movie about Wolverine and Professor X having dementia and the funeral of Wolverine. You'll never catch. I cried to the point of panic in that movie so hard. I left the movie going, that was great. That is probably single-handedly the best they'll ever do at an X-Men movie because I personally think X-Men only works as a mini series or a cartoon. I go, and I will never watch it again. And someone tried to pull it up, and I immediately went into panic breaths again. And I was like, I can't do Logan. It's too sad.
Yeah.
It's my childhood being murdered before my eyes. No one needs it.
Nobody wants that. That's sad.
Well, Jules, tell the people what's coming up, including us doing. Hey, everyone, the next movie that Jules and I get to talk about is the scariest yet sexiest cartoon you'll ever see, and it's The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yes, but that's going to be on Pop Culture Makes Me Jealous. So,
Yeah.
friends, hello, hi there. Now you know I'm a scaredy cat, and you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at the Julia Washington, where I talk about how terrifying this movie was to me while I was watching it. We're in a bye week this week with Pop Culture Makes Me Jealous, so there is no new episode. But if you go to last week, you can listen to
Oh no.
Summer Movies with
Yes.
Mr. Mario. Also, I host Jelly Pop's Book Club, where we read book to screen adaptations. This week, I am recapping not every book I read this summer, but a handful of them. So that's dropping Friday. And then our new season for season 5 of Pop Culture Makes Me Jealous will land in your ear holes on September 20th. And I'm very excited.
And everyone, I'm Natalie Katona. You can catch me the most at Men I've Tolerated Pod on Instagram, where the DMs come through and the DMs go out, and they're plentiful.
And they're wonderful.
You can follow me on TikTok at Natalie K124. TikTok is a combination of all of my interests. So just sit with that for a moment and see if you want to go on the ride. And this week, To All the Men I've Tolerated Before is releasing our episode with Amy Green Smith. And we're talking about the 4 fear responses and how they have evolved to present themselves in our modern day society. I think we talk about the 4 fear responses in Jurassic Park. We talk about chaos theory.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what all Jeff Goldblum talked about. Like, I was
too
get lost in his
by
eyes.
his sexy shirt openness.
And next week we will be on the YouTube for Pop Culture Makes Me Jealous for Still Comfy, and we are doing Sleepless in Seattle.
That's it. That's what we're doing, which will be a
is
nice
a movie I've
palate
never seen.
cleanser. Oh, good. Okay. This is going to be interesting. Oh my God. If you hate this movie and you tell me you hate this movie, I will cry.
I usually have a better attitude about rom-coms that feature what I would consider basically normal looking people like Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan.
Yeah, they are normal looking people, which I appreciate, which makes it more endearing, I think.
Yeah. The perfect rom-com that I've ever seen, and I know Sleepless in Seattle is yours, but mine is One Day. No, that's the sad one. One Fine
Day.
Yeah.
That is a good one. Yes, that is a good one. Sleepless in Seattle isn't my favorite rom-com, but it is in my top.
Oh, that's right. When Harry Met Sally, another one I never saw.
It's on our list to cover. Do not worry, friend.
So everyone, make sure to go check us out. Make sure to leave a comment about anything and everything you would want to tell us about dinosaurs, Jurassic Park, or the Meg, honestly. Or disaster movies. Tell us your favorite disaster movie in the comments. So Jules has a list of movies to avoid.
I'll never watch.
Tell us a movie you'll never watch again in the comments.
Yeah.
But most importantly, stay cozy, stay comfy.
Bye, friends.